Welcome to my channel Liberty Old Coin and History Enthusiasts, to a story that proves extraordinary value can often be found hiding in the most ordinary places. Today, we're not just talking about a coin. We're uncovering the remarkable secret of a specific piece of Australian history that could be quietly resting in your very own pocket. First up, let's identify the star of our show. We are talking about the 1968 Australian 10-cent coin, which features the elegant second portrait of the young Queen Elizabeth II on one side. This design, known as the second portrait, was the masterful work of the renowned artist Arnold Machin, capturing the Queen wearing a beautiful diamond tiara. On the reverse of this coin, you will find a stunning depiction of a lyrebird with its magnificent tail feathers spread forward, a design that has remained unchanged on the 10-cent coin ever since it was first introduced. That lyrebird was the creation of another artistic genius, Stuart Devlin, whose tiny initials SD are hidden near the bird's foot as his signature mark. So, why does this particular coin deserve our full and undivided attention? Let's dig deeper into its fascinating past. To understand the 1968 10-cent coin, we need to rewind to a monumental moment in history. Before 1966, Australia used a complicated system of pounds, shillings, and pence, which had been in place since the days of Captain Cook. Then, on the 14th of February 1966, everything changed, and Australia boldly switched to the decimal system of dollars and cents. This was a massive undertaking, and the new 10-cent coin was introduced to directly replace the old pre-decimal shilling, being the exact same size so that both could circulate together for a while. The first coins were struck in 1966, and by 1968, the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, which had only opened its doors in 1965, was working hard to produce enough currency for the entire nation. The 1968 10-cent coin is a true product of this exciting and pivotal era of Australian modernization. Now let's talk about what makes a coin valuable, starting with the most crucial factor, scarcity. According to official records, the mintage for the 1968 10-cent coin was 24,706,000 pieces. While that number sounds huge, it is actually a significantly lower mintage compared to other years. For context, look at the 1967 10-cent coin, which saw a massive mintage of 51,032,000, more than double the number from 1968. Even the very first year of issue in 1966 saw a combined mintage of nearly 41 million pieces across its two varieties. This lower production run for the 1968 issue is the very first clue that this is not your average everyday coin. When there are fewer coins to go around, the demand from collectors naturally drives the price up, creating a hidden advantage for those who possess one. However, the history of this coin's mintage is a little clouded in mystery, which only adds to its allure. Some respected coin catalogs and resources list a much higher total mintage of around 57,200,000 pieces. This disparity might be because some publications count only the coins released for circulation, while others include those still held in mint rolls or government stocks. Regardless of which number you trust, the fact that there is such a significant discrepancy of over 32 million coins only makes the true history of the 1968 10-cent coin more intriguing. It suggests that a large number of these coins may have been kept in storage, never to see the light of day, making the ones that did enter the world just a little bit harder to find in top condition after all these decades. The real secret to unlocking massive value lies in the coin's condition, a grading scale that numismatists use to judge a coin's quality. A coin fresh from the mint without a single mark, known as uncirculated or mint state, MS, is the ultimate goal for any collector. The difference in price between a worn coin and a flawless one is absolutely astronomical. For example, a 1968 10-cent coin that has been handled and shows a little bit of wear might only be worth its face value. But as soon as we start looking at certified mint state coins, the value begins to climb incredibly fast. This is where the real magic starts to happen for the savvy owner. Let's look at the cold, hard numbers from recent auction data to see this value in action. A certified 1968 10-cent coin graded as Mint State 64, which is a very nice uncirculated coin, has been recorded selling for an average of $32.75. Step up just one grade to MS65, and the average price jumps to $34.50. That's already over 300 times its original face value of just 10 cents. But watch what happens as the condition improves further. A stunning MS66 graded coin has an average selling price of $47.50, showing that even the smallest increase in quality commands a significantly higher premium. These numbers show a clear and exciting trend. The better the coin's condition, the more valuable it becomes in the eyes of eager collectors. Now we arrive at the most thrilling part of our story, the absolute maximum price this coin can fetch. Brace yourselves, because this is where the 1968 10-cent coin truly proves its hidden power. The highest recorded sale for a standard 1968 10-cent coin from verified auction data is an astonishing $140 for a single, flawless specimen graded as Mint State 67. Let that sink in for a moment. A single coin, which you could have easily spent on a candy bar 55 years ago, has been officially sold at auction for a staggering $140. That represents a return on investment of over 1,400 times its original face value, turning a small piece of pocket change into a truly impressive sum of money. So, is the 1968 10-cent coin really that valuable? The answer is a resounding yes, but with one incredibly important condition. It is the pristine, untouched, and certified high-grade coins that command this premium. The worn-out, scratched, and heavily circulated coins you might find in a jar of old change will not make you rich. But the ones that have been safely stored away, forgotten in a drawer or preserved in an old collection, are the true hidden gems. The coin's value does not come from its age alone. It comes from the incredible preservation of its condition. So, while a circulated 1968 10-cent coin has little value beyond 10 cents, the potential for finding a rare, high-grade example is what fuels the excitement of this entire hunt. But wait, there is even more potential treasure to be uncovered beyond just the mint condition coins. The world of error coins is where truly astronomical values can appear, and the 1968 10-cent coin is no exception. One of the most famous and valuable Australian coin errors involves a dollar coin that was mistakenly struck on a 10-cent planchet, the metal blank that the coin is made from. That specific error coin from 1984 sold for a jaw-dropping $2,800 at auction. While a specific 1968 error hasn't been widely publicized, the possibility of finding any mis-struck coin from this year is what keeps serious collectors constantly searching. You might be wondering if the mint mark on the coin affects its value. Interestingly, the 1968 10-cent coin from the Royal Australian Mint does not carry a mint mark. This was standard practice for the Canberra Mint at the time. However, it is worth noting that the very first 1966 10-cent coins have a fascinating variety where the number of spikes on the lyrebird's tail can tell you where it was struck, either in Canberra or in London. No such variety exists for the 1968 issue, which means all 1968 10-cent coins share the same basic design. This uniformity means that the main factors driving value are the same for every single coin: condition, condition, and condition. But do not think that your chances of finding a valuable coin are limited to just loose change. Another excellent avenue for treasure is the official mint roll. An original Royal Australian Mint roll of 1968 10-cent coins, still in its original wrapper from the mint, is a highly collectible item in itself. One such roll was estimated to be worth around $200 at auction. The value here lies not just in the 20 or 50 individual coins inside, but in the historical integrity of the unopened roll. For a collector, owning an original mint roll is like owning a tiny, unopened time capsule from 1968, and that incredible sense of history carries a very real price tag. The allure of the 1968 10-cent coin goes beyond just its monetary value. It is a cherished piece of Australian numismatic history. These coins are a direct and tangible link to the transition from the old British system to the new, independent decimal currency that Australia uses to this day. For many collectors, completing a set of Australian decimal coins from the early years is a lifelong goal, and the 1968 10-cent coin, with its lower mintage, is often a key and challenging piece to find in high grade. It is a coin that has earned its place of respect, not because it is the rarest, but because it represents a perfect storm of age, scarcity, and historical importance. When you hold a 1968 10-cent coin, you are holding a small piece of the swinging 60s. It was a time of change, optimism, and modernization for Australia, and this coin was there for all of it. From the hands of children buying their first ice cream to the pockets of workers and shoppers across the nation, these coins have traveled a long and fascinating road. The wear and tear on a circulated coin tell a story of its own, but the pristine, uncirculated example is a frozen moment in time. It is a perfect, unblemished survivor from an era of massive social and economic change, and that powerful nostalgia is something that collectors are willing to pay a premium for. Now let's get down to the brass tacks. What should you actually do with this information? The first and most important step is to carefully examine any 1968 10-cent coins you may have. Do not just glance at them. Take a close look under a good light, maybe even with a magnifying glass. Look for the sharpness of the design, the original mint luster, and the absence of any scratches or nicks. If you believe you have a coin that is in exceptional condition, the next step is to consider having it professionally graded by a respected service like PCGS or NGC. This certification is the gold standard that turns a potential treasure into a confirmed and verifiable investment. The maximum value of $140 for an MS-67 coin is a fantastic result, but the market is always fluid and can surprise us. Just last year, in 2024, a single 1968 10-cent coin graded MS-67 by PCGS was listed for sale on eBay, demonstrating that these high-grade coins are still actively changing hands. The existence of an even higher grade, such as MS-68 or MS-69, is the holy grail for this coin. While no sales of such a coin have been recorded in the major auction databases, a discovery of one could easily shatter the current price records. The pursuit of that perfect, flawless coin is what keeps the hunt alive and exciting. Remember, the 1968 10-cent coin is a testament to the idea that value is not always obvious. It is hidden in the details, the history, and the rarity of the object. This single coin, often overlooked in a pile of change, has the potential to be one of the most valuable items in your entire collection. The story of this coin is a powerful lesson for everyone. Always pay attention to the small things, for they may hold the biggest surprises. The 1968 Australian 10-cent coin is a true modern classic, a numismatic gem that deserves our respect and admiration. To wrap up this incredible journey, the 1968 Australian 10-cent coin is a shining example of how a common, everyday object can transform into a highly sought-after collector's item. Its lower mintage, its historical significance as part of Australia's decimal revolution, and the immense premium placed on high-quality, uncirculated specimens all combine to create a coin of genuine value. From a humble face value of 10 cents, a pristine MS-67 coin has rocketed to an astonishing $140 at auction, proving that the most valuable treasures are often the ones we least expect. So go and check your change, your old coin jars, and your forgotten drawers. You never know what you might find. Thank you for joining me on this exciting exploration of Australian numismatic history. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden value of the 1968 10-cent coin, please give this video a thumbs up to show your support. Do not forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video where we uncover the extraordinary secrets hidden in plain sight. Share this video with your friends and family. You might just help them discover a small fortune in their own pocket change. Until next time, keep searching, keep learning, and remember that true value is often found in the smallest of places. Next coin, the 1976 Australian 10-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II, might seem like nothing more than everyday pocket change. But this single piece carries a hidden story that could one day transform its value dramatically. While the overall mintage numbers were very high, making the coin common in circulated condition, the true potential of this coin lies in its uncirculated and error varieties that many people overlook. Today we are investigating just one coin, the standard 1976 issue, but understanding its full potential requires looking at both its current market standing and its promising future trajectory. Many collectors are quietly watching this coin, waiting for the moment when its value begins its genuine ascent, and you could be holding that exact piece in your collection right now without even realizing it. The history of the 1976 10-cent coin begins with the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, which was still a relatively young mint, having only opened its doors in 1965. That year, the mint struck an enormous total of 57,060,000 10-cent pieces for general circulation, making it one of the higher mintage years for the denomination in the 1970s. Additionally, the mint produced another 21,200 proof coins, which were specially struck for collectors with a higher quality finish. The coin features the iconic lyrebird design on the reverse, created by the renowned artist Stuart Devlin, a design that has remained unchanged on the 10-cent coin since it was first introduced in 1966. The obverse displays the elegant second portrait of a young Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, with the Queen wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland diamond tiara around her head. This same portrait appeared on Australian coins from 1966 until 1984, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in Australian history. The composition of the 1976 10-cent coin is a durable copper-nickel alloy, specifically 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving the coin its distinctive silver appearance and resilience against wear. Each coin weighs precisely 5.66 grams and measures 23.6 millimeters in diameter, with a reeded or milled edge that helps distinguish it from other denominations. The coin is non-magnetic, a useful feature for quickly verifying authenticity, and the overall weight and dimensions have remained consistent with the original specifications established during decimalization in 1966. The Australian 10-cent coin was introduced on the 14th of February 1966, when the country famously switched from the old imperial system of pounds, shillings, and pence to a modern decimal currency. The new 10-cent coin was designed to replace the pre-decimal shilling, being exactly the same size so that both could circulate together during the transition period. By 1976, the decimal system was firmly established, and the Royal Australian Mint was producing coins for a nation fully embracing its modern currency. The key factor determining whether your 1976 10-cent coin holds significant value comes down to condition and grade, following the same principle that applies to all collectible coins. A worn coin that has spent decades traveling from pocket to pocket will generally only be worth its face value of 10 cents, perhaps a tiny fraction more if sold in bulk lots. However, an uncirculated coin that has been carefully preserved, never seeing active circulation, tells an entirely different story. The certified price guides show that an MS-60 grade coin might fetch around $3, but as the condition improves, the value climbs steadily and meaningfully. At MS-64, the value reaches $3.80, and at MS-65, it increases further to $7.40. The real jump happens at MS-66, where the value rises to $11.40, and at MS-67, the value hits $15.40, representing over 150 times the original face value. These numbers demonstrate a clear pattern. The better the preservation, the higher the premium that collectors are willing to pay for your coin. Looking at actual auction data provides even more concrete evidence of this coin's real-world value in the current market. According to certified auction sale tracked by major coin databases, an MS-66 graded 1976 10-cent coin sold for an average of $20.30 across 5 recorded sales, while an MS-67 graded coin achieved an average price of $15.38 across 7 sales. These prices are remarkably consistent with the retail guide values, indicating a stable and active market for high-grade examples of this coin. What is truly exciting is that the highest recorded sale for a standard circulation strike of this coin could potentially exceed these averages when a truly exceptional specimen appears at auction. The market for Australian decimal coins has been steadily growing, and as more collectors seek to complete date runs of the 10-cent series, the demand for high-grade examples from each year will naturally increase. You might be wondering why a coin with such a high mintage could ever become truly valuable in the future, and the answer lies in the survival rate of uncirculated examples. While 57 million coins were minted, the vast majority entered active circulation and became worn, damaged, or lost over the subsequent 5 decades. The number of coins that were carefully saved and preserved in pristine uncirculated condition is only a tiny fraction of that original total. As time passes and collectors continue to seek out these preserved examples, the supply gradually diminishes while demand remains steady or grows. This basic economic principle of supply and demand is what drives long-term appreciation in the numismatic market, and the 1976 10-cent coin is perfectly positioned to benefit from this dynamic in the years ahead. The future value potential for the 1976 10-cent coin is genuinely promising when we examine the broader trends in Australian coin collecting. Younger generations are discovering the joy of numismatics, and decimal coins from the 1960s and 1970s hold a special nostalgic appeal for those who remember using them in their daily lives. As these collectors mature and gain more disposable income to invest in their hobbies, the demand for high-quality coins from this era is likely to increase substantially. Furthermore, the 1976 issue benefits from being part of the early decimal series, a period that is increasingly recognized as historically significant for Australian coinage. The coins from this era represent the nation's confident step into its modern identity, and that historical weight adds intangible value that will only grow with each passing decade. One of the most exciting possibilities for value appreciation lies in the potential discovery of exceptionally high-grade specimens that have not yet been certified. The price guide currently does not list values for MS-68, MS-69, or MS-70 grades, not because such coins do not exist, but because none have been officially certified and recorded yet. This represents a massive opportunity for the lucky collector who might be holding a flawless specimen. If an MS-68 or higher grade example were to be discovered and certified, the value could be significantly higher than the current MS-67 prices, potentially reaching into the hundreds of dollars for a single coin. The maximum value is not fixed. It is waiting to be discovered by someone who recognizes the potential hiding in their collection. Error coins from 1976 add another exciting dimension to the value potential, as mint mistakes are highly sought after by specialized collectors. One documented example is a 1976 10-cent coin with a split planchet error, where the metal blank was flawed before striking, creating a unique and visually distinctive piece. Such error coins, when authenticated and graded, can command substantial premiums over their normal counterparts, because they represent unique occurrences in the minting process that cannot be replicated. The Royal Australian Mint has produced other notable errors over the years, including the famous 1981 10-cent coin struck on a Sri Lanka 50 cents planchet that carried an approximate value of $600. While no comparable error has been documented for 1976, the possibility of finding an undiscovered error variety keeps the hunt exciting and potentially very rewarding. The proof version of the 1976 10-cent coin, of which only 21,200 were minted, represents an even more select and potentially valuable option for collectors. Proof coins are struck multiple times with specially polished dies on carefully prepared planchets, resulting in mirror-like fields and frosted design elements that are truly stunning to behold. These coins were sold directly to collectors in mint sets and have generally been well preserved, but their limited mintage ensures that they will always be scarcer than circulation strikes. As the decades pass and more proof sets are broken apart or lost, the individual proof coins will become increasingly difficult to locate, driving their value upward over time. Another factor supporting future value growth is the ongoing disappearance of high-quality raw coins from circulation, as they are discovered and graded by certification services. Each time a collector submits an uncirculated 1976 10-cent coin to PCGS or NGC for grading and encapsulation, that coin is effectively removed from the pool of available raw coins. The certified population numbers remain relatively low, with the PCGS census showing only a handful of graded examples at the higher levels. This limited certified population creates a situation where demand from collectors seeking certified examples for their registry sets will increasingly outpace supply, exerting upward pressure on prices for years to come. The maximum value you could currently achieve for a standard 1976 10-cent coin sits at approximately $20 for an MS66 grade in today's market, though an exceptional MS67 could reach similar levels. However, this represents only the known ceiling based on recorded sales, not the ultimate potential of the coin. The maximum value is not a static number but a target that rises as the market evolves and as new discoveries are made. A previously unknown variety or a spectacular error could push the maximum value dramatically higher, potentially into the hundreds of dollars for a single piece. The current maximum is simply a starting point, not a destination, and the true ceiling for this coin has not yet been established by the market. Looking at the broader context of Australian coin collecting provides further encouragement for the future value of the 1976 10-cent coin. Other 10-cent coins from the same era with lower mintages have already demonstrated significant appreciation. For example, the 1991 10-cent coin has been identified by Australian coin experts as one that could sell for up to 100 times its face value due to its lower mintage numbers. The 2011 issue with only 1.7 million minted can be worth up to $45 in uncirculated condition, and the 2019 issue with just 2 million minted can fetch up to 70 times face value. While the 1976 mintage was higher, the increasing age of the coin and the gradual attrition of surviving high-grade examples will eventually narrow the gap in value between it and its scarcer counterparts. The physical condition of the coin you hold is the single most important variable determining both its current and future value. A coin that retains full original mint luster, with sharp design details and no visible marks or scratches, has the potential to achieve the higher grades that command meaningful premiums. Examining your coin under good lighting with a magnifying glass allows you to assess its true condition. Look for the brilliance of the fields, the completeness of the strike on the lyrebird's intricate feathers, and the absence of any distracting contact marks. The coins that have been stored safely in albums, mint rolls, or original mint sets are the ones most likely to have survived in the premium condition that future collectors will prize. The 1976 issue holds a special place in the decimal series because it represents the midpoint of the first decade of Australian decimal coinage, a period of stability after the initial introduction and adjustment to the new system. By 1976, the Royal Australian Mint was operating at full capacity, and the designs that we now consider classic had become familiar and beloved features of daily commerce. This historical position gives the 1976 10-cent coin a significance that goes beyond mere numbers and statistics. It is a tangible artifact from a specific moment in Australia's development, and as time passes, that historical connection becomes increasingly valuable to collectors who appreciate coins as windows into the past. The potential for your 1976 10-cent coin to appreciate in value is supported by the fundamental reality that no more of these coins will ever be produced. The mintage is fixed, and the supply can only decrease over time as coins are lost, damaged, or permanently removed from the market through certification. This fixed supply, combined with steady or growing demand from collectors, creates a favorable environment for long-term value appreciation. While the process may be gradual rather than dramatic, the trend line for high-grade examples of this coin points decisively upward. Patient holders who recognize this potential and preserve their coins carefully could be rewarded with significant returns over the coming decades. The maximum future value of a 1976 Australian 10-cent coin could realistically reach $50 to $100 for a pristine MS-67 or higher grade within the next decade, as the pool of available high-grade examples continues to shrink and collector interest in decimal coins intensifies. Error varieties could command even higher prices, potentially reaching $200 or more for spectacular and unique mistakes. These projections are not speculative fantasies, but reasonable estimates based on observed market trends and the performance of similar coins from the same era. The key to unlocking this potential is simple. Find the highest quality example you can, preserve it carefully, and hold it with patience as the market gradually recognizes its true worth. The time to acquire high-grade examples of the 1976 10-cent coin is now, before the market fully prices in their future potential. Many collectors are still focused on scarcer dates and overlook the opportunities presented by this more common year in premium condition. This oversight creates a window of opportunity for savvy collectors who recognize that tomorrow's valuable coins are often today's overlooked issues. By securing a pristine example now, you position yourself to benefit from the gradual appreciation that will occur as other collectors eventually recognize what you already understand. The 1976 10-cent coin is not just a coin. It is a patient investment in numismatic history that could reward your foresight handsomely in the years ahead. Second coin, Australia 10-cent Elizabeth II coin 1978. Imagine reaching into an old coin tin that has been sitting untouched for decades and discovering a small silver-colored coin dated 1978. At first glance, it may seem ordinary, but collectors know that some vintage Australian coins have attracted serious attention over the years. The 1978 Australia 10-cent coin is one of those fascinating pieces that continues to spark interest among coin enthusiasts, treasure hunters, and investors who believe rare coins can become even more desirable with time. The Australia 10-cent coin, dated 1978, was issued during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II and forms part of Australia's decimal currency system. The portrait of Queen Elizabeth II appears on the obverse, representing a period of Australian history when the nation was continuing to strengthen its modern decimal coinage. For many collectors, Coins from this era carry both historical and sentimental significance. On the reverse side, the coin features the famous lyrebird design, one of Australia's most recognizable native birds. The intricate feathers and artistic detail make this small coin visually appealing. Decades after its release, the design remains one of the most admired among Australian circulating coins, helping maintain strong collector interest. When discussing value, collectors often focus on condition. A well-preserved 1978 Australia 10-cent coin can attract attention because fewer examples survive in exceptional condition. Coins that avoided heavy circulation, scratches, discoloration, and damage tend to generate the strongest interest among buyers seeking premium examples for their collections. The history of the coin begins during an era when Australia was expanding the use of decimal currency introduced in the 1960s. By 1978, the decimal system had become fully established, and millions of Australians used these coins in daily transactions. Every purchase, every shop visit, and every exchange of change contributed to the journey of these coins through Australian history. Collectors often enjoy imagining the stories hidden within older coins. A 1978 10-cent coin may have traveled across cities, passed through countless hands, and witnessed decades of economic and social change. That connection to the past gives the coin a character that cannot be recreated by modern issues. Today, examples of the 1978 Australia 10-cent coin can be found in collections around the world. Interest in Australian coinage has expanded internationally, bringing additional attention to vintage decimal coins. As more collectors enter the hobby, competition for attractive examples can become stronger. Many enthusiasts believe that coins from earlier decades possess long-term potential because surviving high-grade specimens become increasingly difficult to locate. Once collectors secure the finest examples for their collections, the supply available to the market can become more limited, increasing demand among future buyers. Current selling prices vary widely depending on condition, eye appeal, and collector demand. Ordinary circulated examples may trade for modest amounts, while outstanding uncirculated specimens can command significantly higher premiums. Exceptional examples with remarkable preservation can attract offers far beyond face value. Some collectors actively search through old collections hoping to discover a superior specimen that has remained untouched for years. Finding a bright, sharply detailed 1978 coin can feel like uncovering a hidden piece of Australian history. These discoveries often become treasured additions to personal collections. The fascination surrounding older Australian coins continues to grow as new generations become interested in numismatics. Online marketplaces, coin shows, and collector communities have made it easier than ever for buyers and sellers to connect, creating a larger audience for vintage coins. One reason collectors remain optimistic about the future is that historical coins often gain additional appreciation as time passes. Each passing decade increases the age of the coin, making it even more appealing to people who appreciate historical artifacts and vintage currency. Some premium quality examples have attracted impressive attention from collectors willing to pay substantial amounts for superior preservation. In the strongest collector markets, outstanding examples have the potential to achieve values ranging into the hundreds of dollars, with particularly remarkable specimens sometimes inspiring expectations of $500, $1,000, or even more if demand continues to strengthen. The coin's connection to Queen Elizabeth II also adds historical significance. Her image appeared on Australian coinage for generations, making coins from her reign important pieces of Commonwealth history. This connection can increase interest among collectors who focus on royal-themed collections. As collector communities expand globally, Australian decimal coins continue reaching new audiences. Enthusiasts from different countries often seek coins that represent important periods in Australian history, and the 1978 10-cent coin remains a recognizable and accessible example. Many collectors believe that patience is one of the most important factors in coin collecting. A coin purchased or discovered today may become more desirable years later as collector demand evolves. This long-term perspective helps fuel enthusiasm for vintage Australian coinage. The detailed lyrebird design contributes significantly to the coin's appeal. Artistic designs often become iconic over time, and the reverse of the Australian 10-cent coin is frequently praised for its elegance and national symbolism. Such features help maintain collector interest generation after generation. For those fortunate enough to own a particularly well-preserved 1978 example, the coin can represent more than just currency. It becomes a tangible connection to Australia's past, a collectible with historical importance, and a conversation piece that captures the attention of fellow enthusiasts. The future potential of the 1978 Australia 10-cent coin depends on factors such as collector demand, rarity in top condition, and the continued growth of the coin collecting hobby. Many enthusiasts remain confident that quality examples will continue attracting attention from buyers who appreciate vintage Australian coins. Every year, more collectors search through inherited collections, forgotten jars, and old albums hoping to uncover hidden treasures. Among those discoveries, the Australia 10-cent Elizabeth II coin 1978 continues to stand out as a memorable piece of Australian numismatic history, inspiring collectors to preserve it, study it, and imagine the exciting values it may achieve in the years ahead.